So tonight's topic is how to stop jealousy and overthinking in a relationship.
Jealousy is a human emotion. It's a natural human emotion, but in particular, for various reasons that we'll get into, it can be hard to deal with within a relationship, and it's going to require some inner work, some outer work within the relationship, all of which we'll dig into on how you can actually do this and work through it, because it's really easy to be able to work through it.
Right. And also, too, it's situational. You may have good reasons to be provoked into jealousy. So I'm not trying to discount anybody and trying to say that your situation isn't real.
Right.
But let's dive into this topic.
Yep. A quick question that this is based off of. It's always nice to have a question that sets kind of the stage so you can understand, we all can understand kind of how this would play out within a relationship and then work through it together.
Any marriage fit questions you all want, we'll be more than glad to answer those questions or topics for tomorrow. Second, overthinking can lead to catastrophizing, which is the belief that the worst possible outcome will happen. Yeah. So for example, you may start to doubt your own worth. You may think that you're not good enough for your spouse, or that they could easily find someone better. So these thoughts can make you feel insecure and anxious, and which can make you feel jealous and make your jealousy even worse.
All of this, of course, we always say is about awareness. So if you just so happen to have one of these things and it clicks for you, this is a great moment for you to be able to recognize where, trust issues could be coming from, because this is going to be important for the next step that we'll get into a little bit later. So first, low self-esteem. People with low self-esteem often feel that they're unworthy of their spouse's love.
Or either, she could have past trauma from a bad breakup because those guys cheated on her. Her exes cheated on her.
Or left. That brings us to the next one, fear of abandonment, right?
Right, yep. So fear of abandonment. People who have a fear of abandonment prone to jealousy. Yeah. So they may worry that their spouse will leave them for someone else, and this fear can lead to controlling or possessive behaviors.
Of course, this is things where you have to recognize it, because if you don't, they will get worse over time, because it's kind of like an unchecked bad habit, something that you have to get control over, because if you don't, it'll just lead to more bad habits.
So also to unrealistic expectation. People who have unrealistic expectations about relationships may also be more likely to experience jealousy.
You can't be hyper vigilant on betrayal or somebody leaving you, or like the same thing that happened to you in the past happening. You really have to, be sure to not allow that to cloud your judgment, because ultimately it will cause you to misinterpret your spouse's behavior sometimes.
The situation is approached through bias.
Yeah.
So you cannot bring your past situations into a new relationship. We always preach that. Go get help with the trauma that you've been through, so that you won't self-sabotage your new relationship.
Yeah, and push your spouse away, because you could be accusing them of, doing whatever when that's not even, what's going on. Really try to get grips on, your thoughts in particular, and doing those things and finding out those things that work for you. It's going to be different for everybody. Everybody's brain has been programmed its own way, and that really starts from childhood. So you just have to identify how you were programmed and then figure out ways to break that programming and reprogram yourself, especially if you have those repetitive thoughts.
Yep. So it is important to remember that jealousy is a normal emotion. It is. You need to also go get help outside of the relationship, because you shouldn't use your spouse as your therapy. As crazy as that may seem, they may seem biased to you, and often at times they may just, may not be interested or going through something themselves. It's important to talk to your spouse about it,
and then try to explain why. This is going to be really important for him being to understand what's going on with you, and not so much like you're saying it's him. He's doing these things that are causing you to feel this way. It's more so, I am feeling this because of this, But once you've shared your feelings and your perspective, then offer your spouse the opportunity to share his feelings and perspective of, what's going on. Yeah, you just want also too, the opportunity for him to really reassure you in that moment, especially because if he really is interested in you and you're telling him that this is something that you're going through and you're letting him know, this isn't you, this is something I'm going through, but I'm letting you know, so that hopefully this awareness would help us be able to work through it together. In that time, men in particular too, if the woman is coming to you and she's saying, I'm having these issues, be okay with offering that as a moment of reassurance, especially if you really like her. It's soothing a woman and her feelings, especially after she's opened up to you, will really help to bring down a lot of that anxiety. So then that just gets that out the way. She can't ever say, oh, you ain't never tell me, why you ain't tell me you love me?
So talk about the root of your jealousy. What is it about your spouse's behavior or actions that make you feel jealous?
Yeah.
Or is it caused by something you experienced in the past? So once you understand the root of your jealousy, you can start to address it. So that's what you want to focus on, the problem, not the person.
So after you've addressed your own root issues of kind of where this came from, go into, some things that may be triggering. This is your triggers at this moment, and he needs to know this.
And then definitely they need to work on building trust. That's the bottom line to all of this. If you're feeling jealous, it's likely that you don't trust your spouse. So talk to them about how you can build trust in your relationship. This might involve sharing your thoughts and feelings more openly. Or it might involve making some changes to your behavior. So also to focus on the positive aspects of your relationship, of course. So when you're feeling jealous, it is easy to focus on the negative, but you need to focus on the positive. It's important to remember all of the good things about your spouse and your relationship and where you are currently. If you're struggling to work through your jealousy on your own, if you're the type of person who always carrying bags into new relationships, if you're the type of person who start your relationship off in fear, then you need to seek professional help. You do. So stop trying to fight that. So with open communication and willingness to work together, you can overcome jealousy and build a stronger relationship. So you have to be willing to work together.